that how does EIGRP figures out that which is the shortest path in order to reach out to the destination, or which is the best path rather than saying shortest path. So EIGRP uses 5 k values. It uses k1, it uses k2, it uses k3, it uses k4, and it uses k5. And k1 stands for bandwidth, k2 stands for, I think, load, k3 stands for delay, k4 stands for MTU, and k5 stands for reliability. Cool. So K1, K2, K3, K4, and K5. These are the 5 values that that you can like configure on the EIGRP parameter. And by default, the K1 is set to 1 and K3 is set to 1.
If you enjoyed the content of the video, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
And all the other values of K2 is set to 0, K4 is 0, and K5 is 0. So by default, only K1 and K3 is actually used in order to calculate the value. It's not like that the bandwidth will be set to 1. It's like if your bandwidth is set to, let's say, 100 MB, then actually the bandwidth that is actually going to be used in order to calculate the metric is 100 multiplied by 1. But if you look at the reliability, or if you look at the load, then whatever like value for the load is configured onto the interface, it will be multiplied by 0, because 0 is the value of K2 that is set. So it's going to be like 0 multiplied by load, and it's going to turn up as 0 itself. So the information of, or the parameter, the value of K2, K4, and K5 is not going to be used in calculating the metric. Only the bandwidth and the delay is going to be used for calculating the metric there. And if you look at the metric calculation formula, then it is something like so I'll just give you the shortened formula there, which is, because if you look at the longer formula which is there, then it is like K1 multiplied by bandwidth plus K2 multiplied by, I think, bandwidth divided by 256 minus load. Yeah, so this is something that is there, and then you entirely needs to multiply K3, or not multiply, I would say. Yeah, you need to say plus K3 multiplied by delay. And this entire value actually needs to be multiplied by 256 as well. So that's something that is actually used in order to calculate the bandwidth. Now, as your K2 is set to 0, the entire thing, like this particular thing, becomes 0, and then when it is divided by any value, it again becomes 0. So that's why this thing is going to be strike through. And then when you come at the actual formula, then it's like K1 multiplied by bandwidth plus, you can say, K2 multiplied by sorry, not K2, it's K3 multiplied by delay, and then you can like multiply it with 256. So it's like bandwidth plus delay multiplied by 256. That's what the formula actually becomes. Okay, so when you look at calculating the thing, if you, for example, have R1 going out towards R2, going out towards R3, and then there is like a network there, and there is a network over here, and you're using, for example, uh, let's say 128 kbps link here, 128 kbps link here, and then let's say the delay is 200 milliseconds, 2000 milliseconds, and 2000 milliseconds here. So what it's gonna do, it's gonna consider the lowest bandwidth throughout the source and destination, which is 128 I would say 1,000. Okay, which is in bits per second, and plus it's gonna use the product of or the like sum of all the delay throughout the source to destination. So it's like 2,000 plus 2,000, it'll be 4,000. And then when you add them up together, you gotta multiply it with 256, and that's how you're gonna be able to calculate the metric. Okay, this is how the scenario is going to be. But you just need to consider that if you have a value, let's say that one of the link uses 128 kb and the other link over here do not use 128, it rather uses 64 kb. So for reaching out from here to here, the bandwidth that is going to be considered is not going to be 128. It is always going to be the lowest bandwidth. So it will kind of be like instead of 128,000 now, it's gonna be 64,000. And then yeah, that's something that you would need to consider. So when you calculate the metric calculation by using the bandwidth is used as the lowest bandwidth that is available from source to destination, and the delay is kind of the sum of all the delays that are there from source to destination in order to calculate that out there. That's how metric calculation is done.